Foster's also a committed Christian, and he is a joke and storyteller, although perhaps of the second rank rather than the first rank. Foster and Lynn have been friends of ours for 30 years. He is one of the most generous benefactors that the conservative movement knows. But let me introduce him to you with simply 2 words. Foster Friess is a national treasure. Foster, come forward and speak to us, please.
Thank you. You ruined one of my best lines. I was going to come up and say thank you for that wonderful sitting ovation, so you took it away. But everything Colin said about me is really true, and I do deserve this honor. Now, everybody says, you know, I'm successful, I'm rich, I'm handsome, I'm funny, I'm brilliant, all those things, but I get so upset nobody ever mentions how humble I am. Now, to deal with that, I'm coming out with a book, and I hope you'll all buy a copy, America's 10 Most Dynamic Leaders of Today and How I Trained the Other 9. And Colin's going to be in it. He's going to be in it. You know, as we honor Paul Weyrich, and I feel I'm sort of like a surrogate because although I'm the person being honored tonight, it's really the idea of Paul Weyrich that we're honoring and what he stood for in terms of values in our country. And our country is kind of at a pivotal point in terms of will we be governed by rules and regulations, or will we take the Paul Weyrich road? Will we be inspired by virtues and values? And as we look at the Good Samaritan story, and Tim, I thank you so much for your blatantly Christian invocation. I used to send out Christmas cards and people send back and said, well, how this is offensive, it's blatantly Christian. Well, yeah, it is that time of year. And so I think if you look at the story of the Good Samaritan and why it's important that each one of us have a responsibility to keep reinvigorating that Christian, Judeo-Christian value system that has undergirded our country for so many centuries. And the Good Samaritan didn't like the Jews, but yet, as you heard the story, he sees the injured Jew at the side of the road, puts him on his donkey, takes him in, gives the innkeeper money and said, take care of him, when I get back, I'll give you more money, if it's not enough. Today, we're facing a new paradigm shift, where the Good Samaritan comes right along, he sees an injured Jew, says, tough luck, man, tough luck. I'll meet you at the end. There's a government worker 2 hours behind me. He'll take you to the end. That's not good for our country. This whole idea, is health care a right? That issue shouldn't even come up because we know for those who embrace the Christian value systems, health care is a responsibility. We are our brother's keeper. Time and time again, Jesus says, you are our brother's keepers. We were not created by God to pursue our own agenda or pursue our own happiness. He created us to be a channel of his love to others, to be his hands and feet in a hurting world, to be a channel and to be a blessing to every person he puts in our path. And the joy that comes from that kind of a lifestyle is one that invigorates the excitement of Paul Weyrich and the spirit of everybody in this room. Now, I know there's 2 groups of people here. Those who have gone through traumatic experiences. Lynn and I, we dodged divorce a number of times, burned out 5 sets of counselors. My kids and I were not getting along. It was a mess, but we knew we needed new management. So there are people in the room who have asked Jesus to be the chairman of the board of their life, their coach, their boss. But I want to speak to those of you who maybe haven't done that. And you have a responsibility, I think, to cherish this Christian value system because you benefit from it. If you look at Dennis Prager, the Jewish talk show host, he said the worst thing that can happen to America is to become secularized. So honor Rosh Hashanah, honor Hanukkah, honor Christmas. And so don't ever say Happy Holidays. It's Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If we look at some of the key issues that are in our biblical worldview, Philippians 4:8, whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is right, whatever is noble, dwell on these things. This is God's mandate for us to be positive people, not negative people. And if we cherish the whole idea of Galatians 5:22, the fruits of the Spirit, peace, patience, kindness, joy, self-control. Against thee there is no law. Now think about self-control for a minute. That means I can't say to Lynn, you made me angry. She's in control. I have to decide, I am angry because of what you did. So there's, in terms of people being offended, that's a decision that people make. There's nothing that you can say to me or do to me that I will feel offended by, because I'm going to decide not to be offended. Self-control gives us the ability to control our own emotions, and that is a gift that God gives us. If we look at other Bible verses, always consider other people more important than yourself. James 1, verse 2, be grateful, my brethren, when various adversities enter your life, because it'll build your endurance. Your endurance will complete your faith, so you'll be complete and whole, lacking in nothing. We don't like the adversity, but we grow as people. None of us grow as people when things are going well. We grow from the experiences that challenge us, that put us in a Good Friday state. But in this room, almost everybody's had Good Fridays in their life, but there's been Easters. And so in our society, we always look at failure as a stepping stone to our next success. The difference between perfectionism and excellence is a beautiful expression. Perfectionism abhors error, tries to eradicate it and destroy it. Excellence embraces error, builds on it, transforms it. So in our society, we can look at failure and say, okay, Abraham Lincoln lost 2 senatorial races, he becomes president. Companies fail, they start a new company. That fails, they start a new company. In Japan, you mess up, you fall on a sword. So that's why these cultural Christian, Judeo-Christian ideas are so important to us. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 1933, in a radio address, I think Bill Federer here, who sends out the American Minute that tells these little historic events every day, 1933 said, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, elected 4 times president, we cannot assess the progress we've made as a nation without giving due credit the role the Bible has played in the development of our republic. When we've been our finest and most prosperous is when we most closely adhered to those principles. JFK mentions the Christian idea. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. The whole notion, as I said earlier, we are to die to self and be available to God to be part of the solutions that he wants to partner with us. Angela Merkel, week ago Monday, ruling party. The problem in Germany is not too much Islam. It's not enough Christianity. So in our efforts as we go out into the world, we have an opportunity to be bold about why is this message so important? Why is our country so great? Because the merger of capitalism and Christianity. Adam Smith, as it says, if you aggressively pursue your own needs, you'll fulfill the needs of others. Jesus said, aggressively fulfill the needs of others, and your needs will be fulfilled. So it's that marriage of capitalism and Christianity that helped our country thrive and be so great. Harry Truman read the Bible 5 times before he was president. And he declared America a Christian nation. And he said, in this great country of ours, it has been demonstrated the emergence and the combination between Christianity and democracy. He said, since the centuries of Jesus' teachings, his teachings through the centuries, since he's spoken, have been validated. Harry Truman would be very upset. I kind of botched his quote directly, but you get the idea that he endorsed this Christian worldview. So as we think about what we want to do to honor Paul Weyrich and honor all the people that I see in this room who are really American heroes, so many of you of what you've accomplished and what you're contributing to our country, just I'm in awe to be here among you and to be part of your group. And thank you for allowing me to do that. But as we go out, we have to be very careful the language that we use. Because some of you, when I say Harry Truman said this is a Christian nation, some people think, well, that's a theocracy. We don't want a theocracy in America. Remember when Jesus was given the coin with Caesar's image on it? He said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and unto God what is God's. The first declaration of separation of church and state. So Harry Truman wasn't talking about a theocracy. He was talking about what he saw in that society at that time of Christian people living out their lives. When I went to Haiti, hundreds and hundreds of doctors with a Christian motivation often coming at their own expense to serve others. They weren't there on a government grant. So you in this room are critical to the future of our nation. And I was just at the Koch brothers seminar in California, and you heard they had these demonstrations against the Koch brothers because they're trying to influence the world inappropriately. And they had all these demonstrators ranting, and then the Koch brothers hired a whole bunch of the huge bodyguards in the hotel to make sure we're secure about 20. So I went up to David, I said, David, thank you so much. For the first time in my life, you've helped me feel relevant. Let me give you a little example of why we have to use the proper wording when we express our ideas to people. Because it's not so much what you say, it's what people hear. And to demonstrate that story better than anything else, I have to tell you a story about Oli. And my wife, Lynn, bless her heart, she will laugh at this story. She's heard it 100 times. Thank you, honey. Is Oli, before he gets married, he hadn't met Lena yet. Up in Duluth, he has this very, very successful furniture store. He's making so much money in this furniture store. He says, I'm going to go to Paris. Gets over to Paris, sits down at this little cafe. This beautiful woman comes walk off the miniskirt, sits down. She spoke no English. He spoke no French. So he draws a little picture of a wine glass, and she nods, so they have some wine. He draws a picture of a dinner plate, a fork and knife, dinner. She nods, so they have a little dinner. They wind up in Oli's hotel room. She draws a picture of a 4-poster bed and puts a $sign above it. And Oli says, gee whiz, how'd she know I made furniture?